بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين محمد بن عبد الله الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه إلى يوم الدين. حضورنا الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. يسعدني أن أرحب بكم في اليوم الثاني من القمة الدولية لمستقبل البناء، فأهلاً ومرحباً بكم. في بداية برنامجنا لهذا اليوم نرحب بأحد خبراء المجال الصناعي الأستاذ محسن العتيبي، الرئيس التنفيذي لشركة مصاعد أطلس. نقاشنا سيكون عن أحدث الحلول في مجال المصاعد. رحبوا معي بالأستاذ محسن العتيبي. بالبداية يعطيك ألف عافية وشكراً على حضورك، شرفتنا لهذا اليوم.
الله فيك يبارك فيك.
لو تفضلت تحدثنا عن نفسك أستاذ محسن وعن شركة مصاعد أطلس.
محسن بن علي الزيادي، رئيس اللجنة الوطنية للمصاعد والسلام الكهربائية باتحاد الغرف التجارية، والرئيس التنفيذي لشركة مصاعد أطلس، والرئيس التنفيذي لمصنع أطلس الوطنية للمصاعد.
حياك الله.
يا مرحبا.
تحدثنا عن شركة مصاعد أطلس بشكل مختصر.
نعم.
لو تفضلت.
شركة مصاعد أطلس شركة مساهمة مدرجة في هيئة سوق المال، تأسيسها تقريبا 2000 بالكويت، وانطلاقتها بالمملكة 2010، وأصبحت المركز الرئيسي بالخليج بالمملكة العربية السعودية، وتم إنشاء مصنع الوطنية للمصاعد 2012، وفضل الله عز وجل توسعت إلى الشرقية والحسا، وبعدها جدة والطائف وأبها وجازان ووكلاء في عدة مناطق والله الحمد. والنقطة المهمة فضل الله عز وجل بدأنا بتصدير المصاعد خارج المملكة صنع بالسعودية.
ما شاء الله تبارك الله. طيب أستاذ محسن، من خلال خبرتك كيف ترى الاستراتيجية الوطنية للصناعة في ظل رؤية 2030؟
الصناعة واللي نشوف الفترة الماضية فضل الله عز وجل أصبحت المملكة العربية السعودية وجهة للعالم.
صحيح.
في أوروبا بالصين نجلس مع مصانع، الآن الكل يتنافس للدخول بالسوق السعودي. طبعا فضل الله عز وجل الاستحواذات اللي تمت والاندماجات والتكامل اللي حصل بالتنوع بالصناعة شيء ملحوظ الفترة الأخيرة. الانتشار والتصدير أصبح لجميع دول العالم، وهذه مبشرات بأن فعلا راح تكون المملكة العربية السعودية ب2030 إن شاء الله حديث العالم بجميع المنتجات بجميع أنواعها، وبإذن الله أنا راح تدخل لكل بيت، أنا أتوقع إن شاء الله بالعالم، بسبب أن شفنا الجودة وفيه صراحة الرقابة كاملة وثقة الدول اللي جيناها، وخاصة الدول العربية لما يشوفون منتج سعودي في ثقة كاملة والله الحمد.
الحمد لله بفضل من الله. من خلال خبرتك الصناعية والتجارية، ما هي مقترحاتكم للتطور الصناعي في المملكة لتصبح قوة عظمى وكبرى ومركزاً لوجستياً عالمياً؟
هو طبعاً في عدة أمور، منها لو يكون فيه تحفيز البنوك المستثمرين والصناع في القروض، وكذلك البنك الصناعي. البنك الصناعي يمكن لو يسهل بعض الإجراءات اللي موجودة بالبنك ولدعم الصناعيين راح يكون بإذن الله الوضع للأفضل. كذلك الأراضي والبنية التحتية والأتمتة، هذه كلها يعني بإذن الله إذا صبت وركزت على الصناعيين تركيز كبير. وكذلك والنقطة المهمة رقم واحد أنا أشوفها التركيز على تعظيم المحتوى المحلي.
ممتاز. أستاذ محسن، بصفتكم رئيس مجلس اللجنة الوطنية للمصاعد، ما هي خطتكم لتطوير هذا القطاع؟
قبل ما أتكلم عن اللجنة
أي.
بأضيف الأوتوميشن كذلك. بزياراتنا إلى المصانع خارج المملكة لاحظنا قبل 4 سنوات كان المصانع فيها أيادي عاملة كثيرة. السنتين الأخيرة ندخل نشوف ريبوتات اللي تشتغل، مشرفين، فهذا هو المتوقع مستقبل الصناعة. وهذه الرؤية 2030 ترى من الأمور المهمة. ومعالي وزير الصناعة بندر الخريف مركز على هذه النقطة، بأن أتمتة المصانع مهمة جدا وخطوط الإنتاج تكون أوتوميشن. أنا أنصح وبقوة التركيز على هذا المجال. نرجع للسؤال اللي هو اللجنة الوطنية. مجال المصاعد، ويمكن الكلام هذا شوي غريب أحد يتكلم عن نشاط، أنا أنصح وبقوة نشاط المصاعد واعد. نشاط المصاعد بزنس ممتاز جدا بعد الله عز وجل. الفترة القادمة 10 سنوات نشاط المصاعد راح يكون، أنا أتوقع حسب اللي شفته، راح يكون له حظوة كبيرة. فأنصح التوجه إلى مجال مصاعد، لكن بشرط. الشرط هو تكون شركة نظامية. الشركة لازم تكون نظامية بالكود الجديد. الكود تقريبا راح يكون بعد شهر إلى شهر ونص انطلاقه في مجال المصاعد. راح يكون فيه تنظيف كبير للسوق. في فوضى موجودة، نعم، في جميع الدول موجودة، في جميع الأنشطة، لكن المصاعد الآن لأنها أرواح بشر في تركيز كبير من الإدارات، تركيز كبير من معالي محافظ المواصفات المقاييس الدكتور، كذلك من الدفاع المدني، من البلديات، من الجمارك، بإعادة تنظيم كامل للمصاعد. والحمد لله تقريبا في شوط كبير. الإخوان باللجنة ما قصروا، تقريبا شبه أسبوعي في اجتماع، وفي تغيير وفي مبشرات راح نعلن عنها بعد شهر إن شاء الله، بتغيير السوق بالكامل. يعني نتكلم عن تقريبا 6 سنوات متوقع 1,000,000 مبنى جديد. 1,000,000 مبنى يحتاج يمكن 1,000,000 أو أكثر، بعض المباني فيها 8، بعضها 10 مصاعد، فراح يكون عدد كبير. الشركات اللي موجودة حسب الأرقام بالآلاف، النظامي 400 فقط، وال400 راح يفلتر حسب النظام الجديد بعد شهر ونص، قد يصل إلى 200 فقط. 200 يغطي 1,000,000 مستحيل. فليش أنا أقول النشاط مشجع ومحفز للدخول فيه؟ راح يتغير، لكن الواحد يركز على أنه يجيب عمالة ومهندسين ويكون نظامي، وكذلك التركيز على بعض المدن، لأن النظام الجديد راح يكون لكل مدينة لازم يكون في طاقم كامل. اللي يفتح في جدة لازم يكون طاقم كامل بجدة، في الرياض كذلك. فيمكن يكون في تركيز المدن الكبيرة، الرياض، جدة، الدمام هي نصيب الأسد والحصة الكبرى. فأعيد وأكرر، لو تنشرون هذا الكلام، مجال مصاعد بزنس قوي جدا، والله يوفق الجميع.
شكرا لك، وأتمنى الجميع يأخذ بنصيحة الأستاذ محسن في هذا المجال لخبرته.
الله يسلمك.
يعطيك ألف عافية أستاذ محسن. نقاش صغير لكنه مفيد ومساهم فعال، فشكرا لك لحضورك ومساهمتك. وتعبيرا عن شكرنا نقدم لك درع تذكاري.
شكرا
لو
لكم.
تتفضل.
الله يعطيكم العافية.
أعزائنا الحضور، ندعوكم لحضور الجلسة التالية بعنوان خطوات نحو مستقبل مواد البناء. ستكون الجلسة باللغة الإنجليزية، ولغير المتحدثين بهذه اللغة فضلاً استخدام الباركود الموجود للترجمة. شكراً لكم.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the summit. Our next session that we will be talking about, I'm on the wrong page here, please excuse me, is stepping into the future of construction materials. And we will be starting that session in a minute. And I'd like to call the speakers up to the stage. If they could please join me up here. And we have Mr. Faisal and Mr. Engineer Al Kilani. Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to do a call for the CEO of Masdar. He's probably in the exhibition hall. Let's see if we can find him. The CEO of Masdar. Dr. Salifu, are you there? I am missing a speaker. The CEO of Masdar is not with us. Thank you. If you could give him a call. Sorry if you don't mind waiting for a minute.
No worries, sorry.
Can you pause the live stream, please? Thank you very much. My apologies. There must be a time problem here. So please bear with us, it'll be a couple of minutes. I saw the gentleman earlier, so he must be around somewhere. Anyway, if you feel that you would like a more comfortable seat, the sofas in front are not reserved, so please feel free to move forward. It is more comfortable. And if you would like a full translation of the session, what we can do is you can use the QR code on the screen. You could also use the QR code to the side of the screen, and we can do the translations in 57 different languages. So please organize yourselves with your language. If you'd like a more comfortable seat, please move forward. And we'll just give a minute for the CEO of Masdar to please come and join us on stage, if he could. Engineer El-Kalani, would you like to come closer? Because I think we'll start the session. If you want to take that second seat there, and I'll take this first seat here. And if Mr. Faisal joins us, we'll put him in the seat next to you. Thank you very much. Mr. Faisal speaks at all our Saudi Build conferences, so I'm sure he'll be along. Oh, there he is. Let's be cozy, no spaces in between. And thank you for joining us.
Pleasure.
You're doing deals on your booth, right?
Yes, I was.
Okay, so everybody's here now, and thank you very much for joining us. And I'm glad you've all got a comfortable seat. As I said, if you want a translation, you can go to the QR code, 57 different languages. So what we're going to do, we're going to kick off. Since you were late, you're going to go last.
Of course, I would. Apologies.
Okay. Engineer El-Kalani, can you just tell us a bit about yourself and your involvement in the construction industry, please?
Sure thing.
And as close as you can get to the microphone, about 5 centimeters away.
Sure, no worries. I've been calling home Saudi home for probably the past 25 years. Though I worked in the region and in the oil region as well as CIS countries and in UK. I started in the construction chemicals back in 2000 in Saudi Arabia actually, and moved recently towards the finishing items. And I'm currently the deputy CEO for Build Station company and MG Trading.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So you sat right next to one of your competitors, Mr. Faisal, because we know you very well at the show.
We compete each other.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Competition.
Competition. Well, that competition is good.
Indeed.
And so you can tell us about yourself now,
Yeah, definitely.
please.
Faisal Al-Muhaidib. I am the CEO of Hukib Masdar. I have been in the building material industry since 2001.
Wow. You still look like a young man. Huh?
I hope I am. Huh?
Okay, so 2 very big outlets that we have at the show, and they have some super booths that you can go and visit afterwards on the show floor. But here we are really to talk about the future of building materials. So I think we have some real good experts with us today. And I'm going to go first to Mr. El-Kalani about smart building and smart homes. I want you to give us, your take on that and where we're up to in Saudi Arabia on this transformation and the kind of building materials for that we need.
Sure. The smart, let's say, home automation technology is a recent trend. A few years back, let's say probably 10 years back, the trend started picking up. And still there is no standardized format or protocol for all, let's say, smart systems to be into construction. And thus we've seen competition from various different elements. Now, at Build Station, we took a twofold approach. One which is to find people with existing homes that have not been established as smart homes, to provide them with solutions that can make their home smarter by adding add-ons that enable integration with technology and applications. The other part, which is to start from new construction, where you can add the base for all smart systems coming in. The market is picking up, and you can see all probably new apartments, new villas are having integrated smart solutions within the, let's say, ecosystem, and it's making people's lives easier, simply.
So a smart building material. Because since we're talking about building materials,
all right, okay.
Let's talk a little bit about that as well.
Building materials. About building materials, innovation is the word here. The trend, which is now becoming you see it mostly in luxurious projects, where we need to decrease carbon footprint. So smart building materials are actually a major, let's say, enhancement innovation, where you can apply products that capture CO2 actually, rather than having more CO2 coming up. And that's where it's most used is coming in the materials.
So can you give us a couple of examples of some of these materials
Sure.
that the audience out there might think about in their next project?
Sure. One of the recent one, which is biochar cladding, for example, where I think a couple of projects internationally has been applied. One of them, if I'm not mistaken, was Mercedes showroom, where they have the biochar, which is also as a cladding system for the whole building. And it comes in with 3D approach that is helping in reducing the carbon footprints, as well as it being based on the waste materials from farms, as well as bio areas where you can just have that material and use it into construction. So that's one major advantage. The other ones are like hemp-based reinforcement bars, which is also taken from plants and used as a replacement for steel with twice the strength of steel.
Okay, that's very interesting. And then, Mr. Faisal, your company, Masdar, has a variety of products in terms of the constructions of buildings, homes, schools, etc. But in terms of mega projects under construction in the kingdom, what are the main qualities of construction materials from Masdar that you might be working with on those projects?
Yeah, well, recently we have seen that today the majority of the large mega projects, they would always require us to work with them in advance, to write with them the specification. And that's very important to be involved in the beginning with the specification business. So what we have done is that, for us, we have focused on having a team that does this specification business in advance, and then we would supply the material. We also see a lot of need at the moment for the smart solutions. I think today smart solutions, as my colleagues has mentioned, is becoming an integral part of the green construction buildings coming into Saudi Arabia. We see this also within today the material itself being required.
So with all the building going on and the project pipeline with huge projects happening, in terms of building materials capacity, the imports or the local production of these materials, are you seeing the supply chain quite efficient, and there's enough supply coming through to suit demand?
At the moment, there are some of the items that we see a lot of bottlenecks happening. And the majority of the items, especially the standard items that we have been used to for a long time, there is enough quantities available in the market. However, the newly produced material is the one where we need to work with the consultants and with the end user to prepare these items for it. Also today we see a lot of usage for the timber-based construction, and this is something that we have seen a lot, especially in NEOM area, where traditionally for us we have been used to see a lot of the traditional building materials like steel and cement. Now we see different building materials coming for the timber, processed timber. Also a lot of the smart buildings being done.
Okay, can I ask you just to be closer to the microphone?
Definitely.
So that we get the
Of course.
the live stream.
Of course.
Sorry.
Of course.
I should have warned you before, but
No.
you were late.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
I'll hold that against you for next year.
No
okay?
problem.
The other thing that I wanted to move on to as an industry leader, Mr. Faisal, is the steel materials and glass. In terms of sustainability, I mean, are people looking to still use these materials as much as they were before, or are we looking to see more kinds of constructions, CREE, for example, and their innovation with timber and steel? So where are we in the demand pattern, or the kind of what's happening in that area?
So at the moment, for us, if we would go, let's say 10 years ago, and then make a comparison between 10 years ago and today. If we see into the steel business, we could notice that 10 years ago, the demand was around around 9 or 10 million tons of steel. And also from my memories, for the cement, it was around 70 million tons of cement. Now, today, when we see it today, okay, those two major items, and make today a comparison, we see that today steel is around 7, so it went down from 9 to 7, and cement was 70, and today went down from 70 to 50. This means that there is a lot of need for the innovating building materials coming into the market, whether they are the module systems or the industry of the building materials, where we will build everything within one place and then we ship it into the site instead of having it done inside.
So would you say that in terms of design, so we see the reduction in those old school materials, but increases in projects, so we're looking at a much bigger gap than we were before.
Indeed.
So what's the design ethic with architects and developers? Is it definitely the sustainability idea that...
Yes. Yes, to the sustainability, we see it as a big part of the requirements of what we have seeing now from NEOM and also from the other projects coming in the market. Also, the way that, how we build, and the way that we need open spaces within the building itself.
Okay. Engineer Al-Kanani, smart home finishings, and let's stay on the sustainability idea. In terms of those finishings, the materials that are used, the technology that's used, are those all geared towards a more sustainable future for the kingdom?
Definitely. Definitely. One of the things, for example, is cool roof coatings. A lot of innovation is happening in that, and it's being used in order to help with the reduction of thermal transfer. So you'd have a more better insulated home. Across the board, everything is going towards sustainability in multiple fronts. One of them, which is the reduction of the energy bill, which, of course, by default, when you have, whether it was alternative power sources or building materials itself that enable that insulation. So that is all about sustainability, and a major part of the vision of 2030 is sustainability. That was even probably complemented with the Saudi Building Code, which is now not mandatory, but is the Green Building Code. So it's becoming efforts are going that way in order to help sustainability as well.
So it's a voluntary code.
Yep.
And are you seeing your customers buying into this, or they kind of, where are we on that journey?
Yeah, we're at the very beginnings. It was there probably for 20 years, but nobody was actually paying attention to it because it did not make economic sense. But right now, it's making more and more economic sense for the customer, for the end user. And seeing that the adoption rate is just increasing.
So is it making economic sense?
Yep.
Or is it making social sense?
Always the priority for the consumer is the economic sense.
Yeah.
And then when you have it as a social responsibility sense, it adds just like a topping, icing on the cake, simply. Okay. That's how it gets picked up generally. Yeah.
Okay, good. And then if we continue on that kind of home finishing idea,
Yeah.
to support local production.
Yeah.
So yesterday we had a very interesting gentleman who's involved in the building materials area from the government point of view of trying to make more local content.
All right.
From a retail point of view, are you finding it easy to get more locally made products? Are you seeing the quality in those locally made products? And do you think that the investment needs to up the capacity of locally made products? So it's a three-part question.
Yeah. Yes. Our mix, the local products, because we're a trader at the end of the day, and we engage more with the R&D with the external manufacturers, and we customize products to support the local environment and culture. So, but our mix where we get local materials is probably less than 10% at the time being. The issue of industry and having it locally, yes, there is a mandate, and we are seeing shift in, for example, in porcelains and in governmental projects, that they always stress on the local content, and then the imported materials would be preserved for highly specific or specified areas. The issue with industry in Saudi Arabia, it's on the beginnings. The quality, there is no issue of quality. The products produced here are some of the best qualities we've seen, actually. But the problem is the ecosystem. It's still in the beginnings, where you need to have integrated industries and supporting industries to support the growth, the fast growth of the industry itself. In the building materials side, it is on the secondary items, not the major ones. There are some really huge factories here that compete with the international factories, major companies, on the powders, for example, or on the chemical side. But in order to support the industry to grow further, we need further investments, we need further regulations, and making the integration of multiple industries much easier.
Okay.
That was the third part.
The third part was, I can't remember now.
Yeah.
But I am going to ask you another question,
No worries,
if you
sure
don't mind. So we've got quite a big audience sitting out there,
Yeah.
and they might have big checkbooks.
Right.
So if you were going to give them advice, where do you think they should be investing in creating more local content, more locally made products? Should it be right at the base raw material end, or should it be at the finishing, like the door hinge or that end? Where should they be putting their money right now?
It's a long value chain, but I believe on the base materials, because there are some really new innovations happening. I mean, just 2 years ago, there was a process innovation at MIT where they have what they call now, for example, 2DPA, which is now the polymers itself. They're now able to build it with a new process as two-dimensional. And that polymer industry in Saudi is very strong. So adopting such, let's say, innovations and having it here will give you advantage for the end product. The construction industry itself is usually one of the slower industries to adopt innovation. And that what usually happens is that the government or large organizations and large projects are the ones that specify it, and then people see it and start adopting it, and it starts being commercialized. So if you invest in the upper end, and you have our innovations local, like the things done in KAUST and so on, these are the areas that gives you scale at a longer period of time. The down the stream, you have way too many, let's say, traders. You have some really good industries, but that won't be the cutting edge. You will be just like another Me Too product, or your margin would be limited between the, let's say, the 20s and the 40s. But in order to have and gain more return on your investment, you need to invest upstream.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Faisal, I know that from last year, I mean, you're investing in creating local products. Can you tell the audience a bit about that? And there might be some checkbooks out there that are coming your way.
Definitely. So for us within Masdar, we are almost selling around 67% made in Saudi product. Okay, so this is what we do to begin with. Then we said that we, instead of selling the product as raw material, we would like to add a value add into the product. Okay, so for us, we have invested almost 120 million riyals in this year and last year to localize big part of our supply chain, where we are able to bring in the item, provide a value add fabrication to the consumer, and then give it back to the consumer as per their own drawings. So instead of only selling it as a trading, we said we would like to provide supply and apply concept within the product itself, and also add value to the customer.
So what examples can you give us on this added value?
Yeah, so a few examples. First, we have within the steel itself. We have also within the wooden panels. We also do within the fasteners business for the oil and gas industry. So those three main parts of what we are doing now to localize parts of the industry in Saudi Arabia, and also provide our consumers more of a value-add services instead of only a product.
And what's the support mechanism from the government on these projects and this locally made? Are you seeing support for what you're doing?
So now at the moment, for any industry who would like to go into the industrial part of the supply chain, the biggest challenge is really the land, the real estate itself. So this is the largest investment anybody will do. So this one here, we have help from the government by providing to us plots based on let's say nominal prices. This is the first step forward. Also, we have now a lot of initiatives working between us and the Ministry of Industry to help us to localize part of the industry of the building materials here in Saudi.
Excellent, good. So, I mean, if we just go back to the local content, because I'm very interested about that, and I can see that there's some non-Saudis in the audience, so they may be interested in that. You gave us your top list. What about your top list if somebody was thinking of investing in, creating a factory here, or where they should be investing? Where would you say that they should put their money?
So at the moment, I believe to invest within Saudi Arabia, and also if you want to localize big part of the industry, first of all, the oil and gas business is a large, lucrative business, and this business is, really within our grasp here in Saudi because the demand is local. Okay, so this is a very important part of the business that we need to look at. The other part is also the value-add services and the value-add fabrication to give to the consumers, especially for the customized products, whether it is timber, whether it is steel, whether it is plumbing or also electrical items.
Excellent. Gentlemen, I'm just going to ask you for one last comment each. What is unique about what your company does, and what is unique about what your company does? Because you're both competitors here, and I want to know how you differentiate yourselves. Okay?
Sure thing. Actually, we complete each other, actually. Sometimes we deal together a
We'll
lot, actually.
talk about that as well.
So, yeah, we collaborate. We believe in co-opetition, actually, rather than competition.
Compete and collaborate.
Exactly. And,
okay, excellent.
We've become probably one of the top 4 companies in Saudi within a very short span of time. Our last sector we opened 3 years ago. We became number 1 in just 3 years. So, and the reason is simple. The Saudi market is hungry for quality products. It's hungry and there is huge demand. The next 15 years or 20 years and hopefully more are just upward trend for the Saudi economy. And wherever you can, people see that you're adding value, you're making a difference, they would jump on you. So the idea is that we are credible in our providing the added value product, customized to the local culture and content. So we do products that fit with the pattern of consumption of the Saudi market. At the same time, they feel that it's quality products, well branded and so on. And that's what actually sets us apart, that we really add value. And simply the demand is just there. It's up for grabs. Anybody who wants to produce a quality product and give it to the market, he will have a good business in Saudi.
So, Mr. Faisal, would you agree with that approach?
I do agree. Now, for us as Masdar, we are a pioneer in building materials. We specialize into the core and shell. So we don't go into the finishes material. So for us, we started historically with the core and shell, and we are now continuing within the same path of the core and shell. For us, the growth coming in is first of all into the localization of the value-add services. This is for us a focus that we would like to focus moving forward. And also for us, a path to grow is to provide services for the supply and apply industry, whether it is insulation, oil and gas businesses, and also a very specialized finishes products.
And do you think with both your businesses, and I'll go to you first, that once we've got this local production capacity, there's an export market out there?
Yeah, definitely. I think today, for an industry in Saudi to only focus locally, it might not be wise. You need to export part of your production because of scalability. First of all, Saudi has an excellent position globally, especially within all the sea freight lines. So this is really very big point for the country. Also the energy. Today, energy cost in Saudi is relatively low compared with other countries. So, I believe we should take this advantage, to build an industrial base in Saudi and focus export outside the kingdom.
And engineer?
I believe so. I'll just give you a small example. Though we don't manufacture locally, but the strength of the brand and the specs that we do for the Saudi market, what we do is usually we import, for example, porcelain from Spain. So what we did, we opened an operation in Spain where we sell lighting. So we made a trade balance for ourselves, even as a small company. And what enabled us to do so is actually the brand recognition that came from here and the demand that started happening for that brand externally. Saudi products forever has been always known as quality products. I remember in the Levant area, for example, whatever product that has made in Saudi on it, they trust it as a product and there's a high demand for it for other products. I believe that Saudi has a lot to offer. In the industrial side, as I said, it's probably in the beginnings, but the potential is unbelievable. And the export market would be, I think, a major destination for local manufacturers.
Excellent. Well, we've got to say thank you to two gentlemen that run incredibly successful businesses, and they have huge booths in there, so please go and visit them. And please give them a big round of applause for their insights today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was an excellent session, and I did go off script, so I hope you don't mind. You know, they're professionals. So that was fantastic. I learned a lot. We have another session starting in a few minutes. This is going to be automation in building and infrastructure construction and new trends in construction engineering. We have our moderator is Mr. Mustafa Al Hakim, and he will come up to the stage and invite his speakers from the various companies in Saudi Arabia. And I just want to make sure we have 6 chairs for him. Yes, we do. Mr. Al Hakim, please come up. I'd like to invite up to the stage Dr. Ali Fahad Al-Juf, Engineer Badr Al-Khalifa, Mr. Ben Burgess Graham, Engineer Abed Khuzay, and Mr. Muhammad Malik. Please come up to the stage and take your seats next to your name. Thank you very much. Hi. How are you? Hello. Hi. Oh, nice to see you again. I think we are missing Engineer Amit. I think we're missing one speaker, Engineer Mead. Okay, what we're going to do is we will switch seats, and if the engineer comes, then he can go at the end of the row.
That's fine. So I'll move it forward. Would you like me to come on in? Perfect.
We don't know if he's going to come. I'd just like to remind the speakers, please be within 5 to 10 centimeters of the microphone so that people can hear you clearly on the live feed and on the video. Thank you very much. And enjoy the session.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for our audience today and our panels. So, Your Excellencies, everyone who is here in the hall today, I would like to launch our session today about automation in building and infrastructure, construction, and new trends in construction engineering. So maybe I would like first to start with Dr. Ali to introduce yourself and your company, where you come from.
My name is Dr. Ali Al-Jouf. We are Umran Tech Group. We work with mostly construction modular and light steel structure. So we concentrated more in off-site construction in that business as it's coming more trend in the market and it's in needs since so many rush projects in the market. So this is one of the most important sector in our company.
Oh, that's great. Thank you, Dr. Ali. Now I will give the mic to Badr Al Khalifa. If you please introduce yourself to our audience and your company.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Hello, everyone. I'm Badr Al Khalifa. I'm an engineer in the automation. I have an experience that goes back for the past 25 years. I work for a technology manufacturer in the automation industry. It's a Japanese organization called Yokogawa, and they are an equipment manufacturer based in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Dhahran. My involvement in the automation industry goes back in time in serving and catering to the process automation industry in process control solutions, automation, and digitalization and measurement.
Thank you, thank you. That's impressive. So I would like also Ben Burgess to introduce yourself also to our audience and where you come from, which company, what field you are working on.
Great, thank you very much, and thank you for the opportunity to join this panel. So my name's Ben. I'm the design director leading our design management services for a company called PMK Consult. We are a management consultancy. We're based here in Riyadh with regional offices in the UAE as well as global presence in the UK and US. And we work pretty much across all major sectors within the construction industry.
That's impressive. Thank you, thank you. Now, Mr. Muhammad Malik also, please, the mic is yours. Introduce yourself to the audience.
Good afternoon. My name is Mohammed Saqib. I'm from London originally, but have been based in the UAE for the previous 3 years. In terms of my work, I work as part of Camhurst Robots in an innovation and technology-focused ecosystem. So within our ecosystem, we have many sectors, but at the heart of our life's work is our 3D concrete printing robot, which we have worked on for the previous 6 years, spent millions of dollars just on research and development. But we believe we are going to be one of the pioneers of this technology because we've had to consistently, though 3D concrete printing is not a new technology and has been around for some time, we are someone that has consistently tried to, it's an ever-evolving technology, so we've tried to improve our technology as time goes by.
Oh, thank you. That's, I would say, we have a great mix of panelists, so from structural to architectural to manufacturing to consulting, engineering and design to 3D printing. I'm sure our audience will like how we will run this session. So maybe I just came to know we have a huge market when we talk about automation and control for buildings. The 2023 market was around $2 billion here in Saudi Arabia, while the forecast for this year is to reach 3.52, and the cumulative maybe with 9.2 up to 2029. I mean, the growing constantly with around 9 to 10% every year. That's a huge market, and that's why we have this session. We have, I would say, this venue, and we are talking about automation in that field. If I will come to Dr. Ali, what do you understand by automation of buildings and infrastructure construction? As Mohammed Saqib, for example, mentioned now 3D printing, I think there are maybe more ideas or things we would like to know about.
As you know, that construction modular has a lot of sectors from concrete or steel or let's say 3D printing, or even some of the modern construction that has been introduced in the market, that was announced M2 as a new system that has right now started in Saudi Arabia. So we try to go to the most economic solution that can be using more automation system that is coming for offsite construction business, which is we are trying to achieve more and more in Saudi Arabia, as we have a client started with right now to have a 95% manufacturing offsite, which is impressive and hard to compete in the market.
95% is a huge, I would say.
Yes, so we try to achieve that target since, this is, if you are talking about housing or hotels or all sectors, is required now to have these kind of structure system that can be achieved. What is, let's say, the government trying to achieve in hotel sector, for example. We are talking about 500,000 keys to meet for the expo. So this is really not easy to meet. So we are trying to find more solution and better solutions to keep that price is the same as it is right now or less, and at the same time give you the same quality that you are looking for.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. I'm very impressed about this optimization. As you said, 95% improvement, and as we have multi-billion projects, especially here in Riyadh and overall kingdoms. So for sure, this will provide a very positive contribution, and I would say saving, enhancing, and acceleration. I will move to Badr. So from your industry, if we say about offsite prefabrication, for example, or modularization, I know it's maybe mostly from commercial side or industry. So how could this, I would say, the automation of these fields, I would say, will enhance the future and how it can contribute to our country, as we are having, I would say, multi-sectorial projects in almost all fields?
Very well. In essence, when we speak about the prefab solutions or the modular solution or the automated solution, we're all speaking under one umbrella, which is the automation for a certain repetitive tasks. The whole essence behind that is to look into two areas: the ESGs as a one area, and adjacent to it, the activity that is under the sustainability. Now, it is very much important to distinguish between the two for the fact that it is important to drive for more efficiencies, more productivity, and on top of all, this should not replace the labor or the workforce, but rather try to upskill that level of available skills now. With that in mind, we move to the concept of sustainability, which is also important. Looking at certain activities and looking at the method by which those activities are delivered is very much a sustainable process, in the sense that we avoid the mistakes in delivering that, and try to also add a touch of innovation and disruptive acts into it. So at the end, that summarizes the fact that the modularization approach or the prefabrication approach are also a repetitive task. Automating those will shorten schedules at a lower cost and provide further accuracy covering the quality components.
I cannot agree more, and I will chase Ben too, because from engineering also has to contribute on this. So maybe if you can provide us an idea about the major construction project you work on, and how could you, I would say, accumulated what Dr. Ali and Badr have said, because it's all about acceleration, efficiency, and that's, I would say, the aim of automation, if I'm not wrong. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think much of what my fellow panelists are talking about, we've always tried to bring into projects. I've been very fortunate to work on very large kind of mega projects, such as master plans or district-wide public transportation systems. Everything from Jeddah Metro, which was where we designed a fully integrated multimodal transportation system, through to, say, Crossrail, where now known as the Elizabeth Line, which is a new metro station line that runs through the centre of London. That scale of that project is 36 new stations, upgrades. It's 15 new stations, and 8 of those are new and underground. At the time, it was Europe's largest construction project. If you're building on that scale, much as the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has aspirations for aligned to Vision 2030, you have to apply these approaches and bring innovation in. Much of our role is to try and bring techniques into the design stage as well as the construction stage and overlap them, capitalizing on digital technologies, whether that's your digital twins, and utilizing that all the way through, all the way to utilizing augmented reality to visualize concepts for assurance, all the way through to the other end of the project. So if we're looking at utilizing VR headsets to train construction workers and utilize drones for inspections, and that technology can help improve health and safety, help improve quality that we're referring to, and improve overall efficiency and delivery when you apply it to that scale.
I mean, that's impressive. When you mention, I would say, IoT or, I mean, better start at sustainability, and you highlighted also a great word on it. So I will jump to Mohammed Saqib from 3D printing, robotics, IoT. I mean, what could be, I would say, the game changer? What is next?
So, I mean, I could say to you that before we get started, we have to look at the current figures, because 3D printing is only good enough if we're solving a current problem. So if we have a look at the current statistics, in the USA alone, there have been very few houses for sale or for rent. That opens up a $4 trillion untapped market for potential.
4 trillion. That's
4
big
trillion.
number.
On top of that, Canada has a shortage of 5.8 million houses. I'd like to let the audience know as well that there's 150 million people living in permanent homelessness. I mean, obviously, Ben being from the UK, you'll understand as well that the amount of people that occupy the streets outside our supermarkets or our train stations, and there are hard going people to work who are taxpayers that complain about this. But unfortunately, even temporary shelter is overflooded now. And there are cities such as London, for example, which are becoming overpopulated. So coming on to 3D printing technology, what we have done is we've tackled efficiency firsthand. So we've trialed and tested many options, and with our robotic technology, we're in a position where a 2,500 square feet skeleton structure of a home, we can print within 2 to 3 days, so 48 to 72 hours. Now that for us...
If you don't mind, what about the ordinary way, so we can have more feasibility and benchmark? If the same will be built, I mean, using the ordinary way, how long it will take, so our audience can have an idea about the compromisation we make.
That's a very good point you make, because if we continue building at the current trend traditionally,
yes,
by 2030, the world would need 96,000 new homes daily. Now, I don't think that's possible through any traditional method, which is why it's super important to tackle this issue firsthand now, and most importantly, tackle it with the right materials. So what we have done is Portland cement, being as useful as it is, at the same time, it causes a lot of emissions. So we've tried to make our own form of geopolymer cement, which is 95% more eco-friendly, thermal and heat resistant, and at the same time dries extremely quickly and is lightweight, and basalt on top of that as well. This doesn't mean that we will not use locally sourced materials in certain locations, because our intention is to mass produce, manufacture and distribute globally, but we prefer to use geopolymer cement and basalt to build around the world.
Thank you, thank you. That's great insight. I'm so impressed about these numbers, and I'm sure from this year 2024 until 2030 there will be still a room for more improvement, new technologies and new ideas. Maybe I will start with Engineer Hamid first. If you introduce yourself and where do you work for, so our audience gets knowing you.
First of all, I'm sorry for becoming late because of traffic, you know. This is Engineer Hamid Qzeh. I'm currently in a position of MEP Projects Manager. I'm in construction field since more than 13 years. Currently, I'm working in a construction company specialized in MEP contracting work, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. Our company specialized in this field. We are doing different types of projects in the construction, industrial projects, oil and gas projects, commercial projects, and also data centers.
Thank you.
I would like to thank everyone for inviting me for today. It's my pleasure to be here today, and thanks for all people in charge of this conference.
Yes, thank you, thank you. So maybe to continue your experience on MEP, it's one of the crucial elements in any construction project. So if you could just provide us an idea about the verification report of MEP. I used to work in substations, and there will be usually, I would say, cross-section between LV, MV, HVAC, and MEP, and what is the benefit of the verification report? I mean,
yeah, actually, it's a very, very good thing, and it's very important, actually, in the construction. First of all, let me answer as a contractor, okay? We should look for the triangle rule, which is consisting of three very important things: the cost, and time, and quality, okay? So the verification report, it is a very important to improve the customer satisfaction and to improve also the project reliability, okay? And it is a very important, before starting any project, to do this task. It will help you later on to save time, to save man hours, reduce the waste in material and man hours also. So as long as the cost, reduce the cost also of the project and speed up the project. It will help, it will be useful for construction of projects.
I mean, I will continue in the same pattern to Dr. Ali. Thank you, Amit. I mean, from the wide range of projects you conducted, I know in your portfolio you have performed many masjids, villas, and all of, I would say, individual and commercial projects. So when it comes to like what Umran Tech is can provide in construction automation. So coming after Amit with the verification report, I mean, I think before verification report also there has to be a synergy between all the designs. If we are talking about electrical, HVAC, and mechanical, so how would you form all of this based on your experience?
As an off-site construction, I would say there is one important point that should be highlighted, which is you will not change anything in the building except just you do it off-site. The off-site construction mostly is engineering, processing, which is really important to have this kind of value in your project. Without engineering and processing, you can't do these kind of projects, since there is a lot of engineering and processing from, let's say, designing for execution plans and so on. So we have tried to work in all subjects that we think it's possible to do off-site construction, such as mosques or petrol stations and commercial buildings, housings, and so on. So we try not to limit it, but we try to expand to different model. We believe that it's a solution since we have that experience for more than 10 years in that field.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe one, I would say, side question. What are your investment in construction automation? Because I feel off-site, I'm quite sure few are doing it. So there has to be a huge investment from your side on this. So if you can provide us a range or some idea so our audience get aware.
As an automation system, I would believe when we started that automation, we started with light steel machines forming. This was the first step. We are trying to develop more in that field. We have been agreed with a company from UK called British Offsite, so we're trying to get more lines that will be more automated. I would say maybe in UK was fit because of the labor cost, which is they are facing mostly compared to Saudi. It's really hard to have a full automation compared to the labor cost. So we will try to be, let's say, 30% automated, not to be fully 100% automated.
I mean, even with 30%, it's still a great achievement, I mean, to have. And for sure, we will be eager for more. Engineer Badr, Yokogawa is a major provider of industrial automation. So from your experience, what are the actual advanced automated solutions in buildings? Everyone now is hearing about smart homes, smart cities, and smart tech. It's coming in all things. Maybe I will stop here. I don't want to start with AI now because it's, again, another wide subject.
Well, we could start with the very basic application when it comes to automation. And that probably would be the doorbell, which was a simple electrical circuit. You push a button, it rings a bell with little bit of electrical current in it. That's basically the basic form of it. It evolved with the advancement of the circuit boards and the printed circuit boards into the CCTV, the modern type of CCTV. This is also a modern application for home automation covering the prospect of security. It evolved then to become the heating and ventilation with a little bit of a thermostat. This is also some sort of home automation. It evolves then to the TV set remote control that you have. That's, if you think of it, these simple, basic, day-to-day gadgets that we use in almost every other move in our daily life. All these are automation. Now, that covers the basic or the basic symbol aspect of it. You want to think big, take it to the next level, it could get even more complicated. Keeping it simple is the ultimate sophistication, and I think I'm quoting Da Vinci here. So the idea is you can have any task automated and simple as much as you want. That depends on your application.
Of course, it has to be tailored for each one, I would say, application, taking in consideration also the involvement now of renewable. So this is also a new era for automation. I mean, to remain using the grid or when to shift to the renewable source. Thank you, Engineer Badr. Ben, you have provided and delivered many projects from hospitality to retails to commercial. If you can tell us what are the new trends in construction engineering from design. Now we will come to AI. So for example, can we say now there is a maturity to utilize and use AI in engineering and design?
I guess short answer to that is yes, but much of the answer to that is a lot of what the panelists have said this afternoon already. I mean, no matter what the type of project is, a consistency is that the client is facing that pressure of the trifecta of achieving time, quality, and cost. I think much of our role is really trying to implement much of the approaches that the panelists here are talking about. If you look at the history of the construction industry, we've not been the best at being receptive to change and innovation and new technologies. We very much still build how we have been building for 150 years. If you compare the construction industry to our peers in the aeronautical, aviation, automobile industries, they take a completely different approach to how they build their product. They look at it more on a component basis in a factory-controlled environment on an assembly production line. It's very much enables them to control that trifecta of cost, time, and quality. Now, if you're going to bring that innovational approach into the construction industry, whether you're modularizing, building off-site, 3D printing, even componentizing MEP systems, in order to achieve that original aspiration from the client, you have to think about the end product at the very beginning. You have to think about how you're delivering it and how it's going to be built, who's putting it together, how it's manufactured. With all the externality pressures of the market in terms of increasing skilled labor, the supply of materials, that aspect is really on projects. New digital innovations like AI definitely have a part to play in it.
Thank you, thank you. I know digital twins, AIs, and there are many technologies are playing a crucial role on the enhancement of engineering. The concept of the engineering design is the core about the whole story. So thank you, Ben. So maybe I will jump to Muhammad, and I think your company is not only a robotic company, so you are an investor in new technologies also. So if you could elaborate or inform us about the latest technology or the new era of which will be considered in building and construction.
So look, we want to work very close with government. So with 3D concrete printing, it has been a case that with people we speak to, whether it be governments, diplomats, private investors, there are people that turn around and from a humanitarian level do ask, are you taking the role away from the artisan? Which can be asked because we are building the shell or the structure of a high-rise building or a villa within a week or 2 weeks, which is what we propose, or a small to medium-sized low-cost social housing unit. Now, with that also, we respond by saying that although the role of the artisan building the shell of the house, taking his time and effort out to build that, we are looking for more robot operators. We are looking to teach people the technology. So one thing I'm very proud of, which is something we've accomplished, is in West India, in South Gujarat, there's a National Institute of Technology college called SVNIT. And with that college, we've actually signed an agreement where they say, hey, we're looking to embrace your technology, but we'll be offering 3D construction printing vocational courses where we will teach engineers, construction professionals about the benefits of 3D concrete printing, produce more job prospects and opportunities, but also buy a handful amount of robots from you, which you mass produce, because that is our intention initially, to manufacture and distribute robots, where we can teach people how to build in India. Now, we have a different target market. So, for example, when we look at Africa, for example, especially Central and West Africa, we have a private company in Ghana who have said to us that they wish to build 600,000 low-cost social housing units. Now, what they want to do initially is build 100,000, but we want to open up the opportunity for people, because for all of us, it's not just the entrepreneurial side, it's the humanitarian side. We want to give people the opportunity to have a smile on their face, those that have to occupy the streets, those that cannot afford to live in their own home because of cost of inflation, and say, hey, let's have a rent-to-buy scheme over a short 7 to 10 year period where they can live in that home, those low-cost social housing units. Whereas, for example, in, let's say, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, we do not compromise on structural integrity, and we ensure we stick to the building codes of Saudi Arabia, ensuring that we build around whatever the laws are within that nation, and we're appealing to a different target market. So I have spoken to people at our booth over the last 3 days, where people have said, we want to build multiple story villas. Is that possible? And I'm like, yes, very much so, because we are constantly, it's a try and error phase, and we're evolutionary. So we're always trying new techniques to try and develop. And I'd just like to add one final point, because you did mention new age technology and what else you have as an innovation. And what we're looking to do is we're looking to, as well as 3D concrete printing, bring foreign direct investment into different countries through our technology. So we give people the opportunity who don't have the financial power to purchase our robots or to roll out certain projects, the ability through our ecosystem to be able to one day own or say, hey, I was the developer or rolled out this specific project.
Okay, that's, I would say, a good highlight. Maybe before moving to Amit, just in very simple. So we started from the ordinary or traditional way to somehow automated. In construction, it was prefabrication. It was like one of the era which make a huge advancement and enhancement. So with robotics also, your highlights and your new technologies, I'm sure we are going beyond it. So what could you, I'd say, between prefabrication and 3D printing, we need to imagine what would be the next. So, I mean, it's only a thought I'm sharing. Thanks, Mohammed Saqib. Now to Engineer Ahmed. Amit, sorry. So with the new norms and increased concerns of sustainability, how do you see MEP of the future?
Actually, Yani, as you see, and the gentleman said just now, Yani, the world now changed very fast, and everything going more automated and also connected to AI. I see the MEP future, you can say it's likely it can be shaped in some keywords. Let me start with the sustainability. We are the world going more with the green buildings, smart homes. Number two, building information moduling. Number three, also you can say same what you mentioned just now, prefabrication also, and modular designing. Prefabrication, actually, it is going now more famous in the world, which is a very important thing for MEP work also. It will allow you to save the time, also to save the man hours. Even it will allow you to complete the project on the time frame. Of course, this will give the benefit of reducing the waste and reducing the cost. So all these things, this is what I see in the future. Also more coming smarter for everything, even in the MEP, especially controlling the HVAC system, controlling the security system, all these things related to MEP. Like, let me give an examples. Now we have BMS system, building management system for the buildings. It can be easily for the user, he can monitor and control all parameters. Even now it can be controlled remotely, and some connected to mobile applications. So wherever you are sitting, you can monitor or control.
The accessibility is so easy
Yes,
nowadays.
exactly.
So, yes, thank you, Engineer Amid. I think we still have 5 minutes, so I won't bother my panels. I would check with our audience if there is any question. Otherwise, we will continue our discussion. So we have one question here, Marzi.
Is it on? I scared myself. Thank you for the very interesting panel, and you're all experts in different things, talking about accepting innovation in material, in building, in operation. And yet when we talk about design and construction, I come from design and construction, 20 years working on giga projects globally. And what I see still, this simple, you talked about Da Vinci, keeping it simple. How do we go from design to MEP to construction with these packages which need teams of people to oversee who did what, when, and come back? You have EDMS systems which do 80–90% of the work. But when it comes to the digital, intelligent, reviewing and approving of your drawing packages before you move into building information management, how do you do it? You have 5 minutes. I want a use case, because it's about the use case of how it goes from there all the way for him to build it. If you have questions about my questions, let me know.
It's 3 minutes now. So, Amid, what would be your insight? I mean, I think documentation and using document management system is the key takeaway from the question. So it's not only about documentation. How about the approval cycle?
Actually, I didn't understand the full question. I didn't hear it fully.
Oh, okay.
Can you?
Can I take
Just very quickly?
No,
You could.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
Ben want to contribute.
If I may, I think the simplest answer to that is really a lot of what we do, which is establishing and fostering an environment that everybody is on the same page. The project team has to be aligned in project goals. They have to be organized. They have to be structured. And having a clear governance system throughout that project in terms of delivery, but also really looking towards the end of a project and bringing that through. So having those clear goals and keeping it simple, something you mentioned earlier. A lot of what we're talking about here are approaches to solve a capacity issue, a speed issue, facing real global challenges that we have in an undersupply. If we solve those with applying these kind of approaches, it frees us up to rethink on humanizing the projects again. So I was always taught as an architect when I was training that a smart building is not the application of smart technologies, but an intelligent building in terms of its adaptability. If buildings are adaptable, they're flexible, they can change. And a lot of what we're here in really kind of the epicenter of the global construction industry makes it incredibly exciting. We have an opportunity to look and build for future generations. So not just catering for a single use or the challenges or issues of today's wants and needs, but if a building is set up, a built environment is designed and built that it can adapt and change, it can flex and cater for different changes, therefore people start to cherish it. And when people cherish something, it has longevity. If it has longevity, you've actually created something sustainable, because it's all the embodied carbon, all the efforts of generations foregone are still there to be used. So that's probably my take on it.
Thank you, Ben. If Engineer Badr, still you want to contribute?
Yeah, I just, whatever is said here is brilliant. I just want to add the technology is available. Technology has never been the issue. The challenge is actually comes in with adopting a discipline, which is more of a governance aspect into solving this problem. I can think of the most complicated project, with all my due respect to the civil projects, but I come from the industrial background. And the pressure is even 10 times higher, the schedules are 10 times tighter, and the technology is available. The fund to bring in that technology is also available. But the actual difference is getting the right people to do the, so to say, the marriage between the technology and the discipline, which is the governance that drives the result. That's basically it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much to our amazing panel. I'm sorry I had to take over because we're out of time and it's now prayer time. Could I also ask you all to go to the middle of the stage? We're going to do a photo of the panel. Please give them a big round of applause for all their time and those amazing insights. Thank you. We will be back at 5:35 with a case study, contracting best practices in the construction industry, and I hope that you will join us back then after the prayer time. Thank you very much to our panel. Good afternoon and welcome to the, good evening rather, and welcome to the evening sessions of the Future of Building International Summit at Saudi Build and Saudi LNX 2024. Please come forward and take some sofa seats if you would like a comfortable session. The session will be delivered in English. If you would like an Arabic or a different language translation, please use the QR code up here, and you have access to 57 different languages should you wish to see it in another language. We will be starting in a minute, and I would invite my colleague, Tracy Gomez, to come up to the podium and introduce herself and introduce the speaker to the session. Welcome, Tracy.
Thank you, Dr. James. Honorable attendees, ladies and gentlemen, contracts have always been important in construction projects as they lay down all of the duties and obligations and rights and liabilities of the parties. Today, the program of the summit offers a case study presentation delivered by Mr. Artyushenko Andrei. Mr. Andrei is the managing partner and FIDIC expert from Artyushenko and Partners firm, which is based in Almaty, Republic of Kazakhstan. The topic of the case study is From Contracts to Construction, BIM Integration in FIDIC Contracts. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage Mr. Artyushenko Andrei.
Thank you very much for inviting me here. I'm glad to be here, the part of this event. Briefly about myself. I'm a lawyer. I'm a FIDIC certified trainer. FIDIC is the construction contracts which are brought on the stage by international banks who are financing different projects and obligating parties to use such specific pro forms of the construction contracts. I am myself also the arbitrator, the trainer, and my personality is recommended by Legal 500, Chambers and Partners, Who is Who Legal, and so on. My main profile is the construction contracts legal support on different stages and the real estate legal support on the whole life cycle of the asset, real estate asset. There was a lot already told about BIM, building information modeling before. I will briefly touch some basic things. BIM is one of the digital data technologies used in all aspects of planning, investigation, design, construction, and assets operating. Digital data technologies include systems for data acquisition, document management, design, process management, estimating, planning, scheduling, contract management, performance management, and the BIM itself, building information modeling. No need to go inside in each of these. I think it's quite clear. BIM is widely used in Saudi Arabia, in particular in such huge projects as construction of the King Abdullah Financial District, King Abdulaziz Center of World Culture, Saudi Electricity Company headquarters, the Line in the Neom, and so on. These kind of contracts are applicable to use in different forms of contracts, including FIDIC, as I told you before. It's a construction forms of contract which are sometimes obligatory to use. If you want to get some financing from particular banking institutions, or if you want to get money from some investment funds, they are obligating parties to use these forms of contracts. Also, it is interesting and possible to use these kind of contracts jointly with the to use the BIM approach when we are using the FAC1 contracts. It's the alliance contracts which are joining together all parties of the construction with the one aim to finalize the project that as it was planned. Need to note that the BIM is not a set of contract conditions. It's a mechanism to provide an environment where all parties have access to all information, relevant information, to their roles in design and construction of the project. It should be noted that the improved quality of information in projects utilizing BIM can result in a significant reduction in variations. If you are aware about the construction itself, variations is the most often word used in the process. Variation brings parties to quite challenging situations every day on the construction, and it is related to time, cost, and money. Time means get on time, money means not pay more, and quality means the quality of materials of the result. Variation brings party to something which is understandable for both. Would the terms be increased, schedule be reviewed, would there be any additional payments, or is there any need to replace the materials with another quality? BIM is well suited for integrated project delivery, and also it is very good, especially for the design, build, operate projects, DBOT. As far as I understand, in Saudi it is PPP projects, public-private partnership projects, which are supposed to early proactivate involvement of the designer, engineer, contractor, employer, which are essential for the positive realization of the FIDIC and BIM-based projects. I will emphasize several, there will be only 3 slides more, about the some specifics which are underlined by the FIDIC association when they had got a lot of experience using this BIM approach for the construction. The risks that can be identified, first of all, usually it is misunderstanding on the scope of services by the participants of the project, means engineer, employer, contractor, subcontractor. They all need to understand their roles and their scope of services, scope of works they are doing. The second issue is the use of data for an inappropriate purpose and reliance on inappropriate data. Means that the data as from the beginning should be appropriate, and the quantity of data should be enough, and you need to understand for which purposes you are collecting this data and providing to the parties. Ineffective information document or data management, cybersecurity and responsibility for holding the models or data. There are a lot of cases when cyber issues become a headache for the parties when the construction is in the process, but the BIM model is impossible to review because of the absence of the access to the software. Definition of deliverables, approval, and delivery means you need to understand what is goes under the deliverables, approvals, and delivery clearly for each party of the project. FIDIC recommend users to follow the following recommendations when you are going to use FIDIC construction contracts. When using BIM, need to consult and read guidelines, manuals provided by the FIDIC Federation. They are usually easy accessible from the website. Where possible, develop and implement a shared BIM model for use by all parties involved. There are separate approaches to make a BIM model. It is open model, closed model, and the shared one. The shared is the kind of golden middle. Strive to ensure alignment and goals and efforts which can be achieved by using a BIM protocol and BIM execution plan that specify the level of design and development. Acknowledge the difference in each party approach and use FIDIC contracts that ensure fair treatment of all parties as appropriate. Clearly specify the tenderers what the employers expect from the contractor. Such expectations should focus on specific desired goals and BIM benefits, of course. So the following recommendations from FIDIC is that the system during the to manage the digital technology related risks, it is better to first of all to understand the system and the versions or releases of the version they propose and the management process they will adopt. Need to fix it in the tendering documentation, in the proposals. Access rights and limitations to the client, other consultants and contractors. Sometimes there is a need, sometimes there is no need to have such access. Reliance other parties on the project may place on data in the digital environment. Limitations in terms of uptime and access and potential exclusion of liability of downtime if it is applicable. Potential exclusions of liability in the event of cyber attack. Here we are talking about the obligatory insurance of the risks related to cyber attacks. It's quite tricky in some countries to get insurance on these risks. Potential exclusion and limitation of on professional liability in respect of the actions of others. Access to the current and previous issues on the combined model means the history and its process. And my last slide with some additional summaries with in particular when you work with the tendering documentation, when you work with the construction contract, drafting the construction contract, need to pay attention to the notification procedure, to the subcontractor's obligations. If you want there to comply with the BIM, you would need to put the copy of this obligation back to back in the subcontract agreement. Dispute resolution procedure, need to note that BIM participants need to be involved in all stages of dispute resolution as well. Specialist consultation means that to bring on table the needed specialists when it needed. Joint venture risk, sometimes it is need to avoid joint venture depending on the legislation of the country. Fitness of for purpose, need to list the expectations for the fitness of purpose, and they should be quite understandable and clear for everybody. And the liability limits needs to understand who is responsible for what, as I've told before. This is tricky moments and need to be aware to eliminate them. So this is all from me for today. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, I would love to answer. When there is no questions means that everything's so clear that I'm a brilliant guy, or there is an opposite. Nothing is understood. I hopefully first. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Andre. We would like to invite you in the middle of the stage, please, for the presentation of the trophy and for a photo op as well. Thank you, Mr. Andre, for the brilliant case study presentation. It was very interesting indeed. The next session will be moderated by Dr. James Morgan, and it's going to be starting at around 6:05 p.m. Please, if you can remain seated until the next session. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this evening's session. We are going to be talking about new trends in furniture, accessories, and finishing solutions. And we have a representative from one of Saudi Arabia's leading companies, Abiat, in this field. So I'd like to invite up to the stage Mr. Hadi Nadir Abul. Please join us on the stage. Thank you very much. To the microphone about that far away.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to kick this off, and we have a late replacement because your boss couldn't make it today.
Correct,
so
correct.
He's done a very good job being here and looking so confident. So let's give him another round of applause, shall we?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Mr. Hadi, can you introduce yourself to the audience and Abiat, please?
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Hadi Abul. I'm the Chief Commercial Officer at Abiat. I've been with Abiat now for 12 years, and I'm part of a team who is, let's say, aligned on one mission, which is to be in the lead in every mind and in every home. And this is our vision as an Abiat team, to be the destination for one-stop shop furniture and finishing materials in the Middle East.
Thank you. So, part of Vision 2030 is about making a big contribution to the quality of life for Saudis and people that live in Saudi Arabia.
Correct.
The construction industry plays a huge role in this quality of life, idea. Can you tell me how Abiat, as a finishings interiors company, is contributing to this quality of life program?
Correct. So I think the Vision 2030 align well with, or actually we align well with the Vision 2030 in improving the quality of life here in Saudi Arabia. And there are many examples that comes to mind on how we do things. We take an example, whether related to the product design, whether related to the interior design, whether related to also the services that we give to our customers. So I think part of it, so if we take an example today, I have never met a person who did not complain about pillows, correct? So this is too soft, this is too hard, I cannot sleep at night, and all of that. And we took this pain seriously, and we were able to introduce 10 different solutions this year as part of our commitment to improve the quality of life, where we can find a solution for the light sleeper, for the deep sleeper, for the people who sleeps on the right side, people who sleeps on their stomach, and all of that. So this is one key element that we look at, is how to improve the quality of life through design. As well as we are about to introduce about our smart home solution, which also part of improving quality of life and giving convenience and giving efficiency, and part of, let's say, riding on the trend that we're seeing today when it goes to smart home solutions.
So let's go to this efficiency word. I mean, obviously, we're talking about low carbon or less energy.
Less
use.
energy.
Tell us a bit about what you're doing in that area. For
So
smart
we are
homes.
doing it on two parts. On the product side, let's say, today we have introduced last year our thermal break aluminum system with a low E glass that will improve the efficiency of, that will, let's say, prevent a lot of the sunlight to go inside and to come inside the house itself. So this will improve your electricity bill, and it will improve the efficiency inside the house, which means you will consume less electricity over the years. So this is one part when it goes to the product that we are, let's say, working with today.
So actually, you're going beyond the quality of life into the sustainability area
Exactly,
as well.
part of it as well.
So is that a big link for you? Is that making sure that quality of life is linked to sustainability?
Linked to sustainability as well, correct.
Excellent. Okay. So in terms of home furnishings, accessories, the smart home interior, what does that look like to you at Abiat?
I think all what we see today is smart. So if you look at, I think with time, and we see this as all the new products and all the new services and solutions are becoming easier to adapt, easier for installation, easier for users to use as well. So we see a lot of that when it goes to the control of the house today, from lighting to the air conditioning, to the security systems, to the safety systems that we have in the house through the smart home solutions. As well as we saw, I think this year, one of the biggest change that will happen in the sanitary ware, where we saw in international expos this year. It's all about smart WC. It's all about the intelligence WC. So I think this shift also will come soon in our area, maybe in 2 or 3 years' time. We see this trend now going from, let's say, the A brand hotels to the B brand hotels, and soon I think it will also will be available widely in the market for the end user as well.
So this is an interesting point you've just raised. It's about adoption of new technology. So how do you do that within the retail environment or in your communications and the way you show things at shows
Exactly.
like this?
So, for example, this plays a big role of our investment today in the way that we show those solutions for the customers. So we always think customer first. So whenever we have a new introduction of a product and how we want to do it for the customer, we always think how the customer will see it and was it easy for him to understand what we do.
Are you seeing adoption rates increasing for smart home furnishings and technologies?
Yeah, that is correct. We recently launched we are piloting our smart home solution now in one of our stores in Kuwait. And the numbers that we saw were shocking. It's almost 3 to 4 times what we expected in the beginning. And this is without the full launching of the product itself. So I think, as I said, it's the ease of the adaptation today with the technology that is available. It's 10 times better from what we saw in the past 5 to 10 years, let's say.
So your hope for Saudi and contributing to a better quality of life. Have you got more interesting things in the pipeline?
So this is actually something that we will introduce in Saudi by the end of this year, which is Abiat Smart Home Solution that you'll be able to control and monitor everything inside the house, from the lighting, from the security cameras, from the safety devices in the house as well. Expectation to launch in December, January, and this is something that you can control with a developed application for Abiat. It's called Abiat Smart. As well, you can control it through different, let's say, screens throughout the house as well.
So you're actually creating your own app
it's
that's
our
going
own
to
developed
integrate
app.
the whole smart home solution.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's give him a big round of applause. That's amazing. Made in Saudi, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Well, you must be very proud of that.
We
I mean,
are,
how
we
did
are.
you feel when you were going to think about launching this? How did you feel emotionally?
I think emotionally it's a bit difficult to describe because we believe in Abiat we are at 20% of our potential of where we are today and in our vision of how we want to develop things here in Saudi Arabia and as well in the Middle East.
Amazing. Let's give him a big round of applause. That's really good news for all of us. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you
Let's
very
do a photo. A big round of applause again for Saudi Made, please. Well, I'm super impressed after that. So, yeah, maybe I'll get my smart home sorted out by Abiat next year. We're going to move on to the last session of the evening. These are presentations where each speaker will come up and they will do a presentation on the various quality of life issues related to interior design. So I'll ask the speakers to come up and take a seat, if you could do that, and then you will each come up individually. I will announce you to come up by yourselves, but please first of all take a seat next to your name and then I will introduce you. Hello. We are looking for Dr. Ali Al-Jouf. He was here earlier. I know he's very busy today. So what we'll do, AV, we're going to switch up the order of the slides so these two presenters can start. And when Mr. Al-Jouf arrives, then we'll do the Omran Tech. Okay, is everybody okay with that? Yeah? Okay, I've got thumbs up from all of you guys there, so we'll do that. Shall we go with you, Patrick? First of all, this is your second gig in Saudi Arabia, so welcome. Come up to the podium, please.
Thank you for the introduction. Hello, everybody. My name is Patrick DeLetteber. I work for a company called Pneumatic Vacuum Elevators. We are the original inventors and pioneers of the world's first air-driven home elevator. So we specialize in providing additional accessibility for homes that are both eco-friendly and easy to install. They don't take up a lot of space, and they're powered by the most abundant resource in the world, air. So these are also eco-friendly solutions. The big appeal is that they just go on the ground. We don't require any pre-construction shaft or pit, so they can go almost anywhere inside the home. They have a very attractive aesthetic, so from an interior design perspective, they enhance the design of the home. They almost become like a conversation piece or a sculpture inside. So not only does this improve people's life, but it also adds something to the home itself. Many homes that have already been built were not designed with an elevator in mind. Our product can be installed in as little as 2 to 3 days, making them very easy to retrofit. And for new construction, as there are many villas that are being created, it makes this a very attractive addition for existing or designs that are being newly built. So in order to understand how an air-driven elevator works, I'm going to jump into the different principles of operation. All right, so there are really 3 main components to the vacuum elevator. There's the exterior cylinder, or essentially the shaft, right? Then there is the cabin. This is what the passenger steps inside, and this houses as well as the priority seal, which makes sure that the system is airtight. And then on top is the elevator machinery. This houses the turbines, the controller, as well as the air valves. So how the elevator works is that the elevator is just resting on the ground, right? It's a self-supporting system that just goes on the floor. For operation, the passenger steps inside the cabin and essentially selects their desired floor. Our elevators can go up to 5 stops. Now, for ascent, the turbines above suck the air from inside the cylinder, creating a vacuum, right? So the motors above are extracting air from inside the cylinder. Below, there are little perforations, little holes on the bottom that allow air to come in and out of the cylinder. So it operates very similar to like a syringe. As air above gets pulled, air below gets drawn in through the perforations, and the difference in pressure lifts the cabin with the passenger inside up. So there are no ropes, no hydraulics. It's literally the difference in air pressure that's transporting the person up and down. Again, this is a very innovative solution that's been around for over 20 years. We invented this product in 2002. The elevator locks at the upper floors, at which point the passenger can safely exit the elevator. So these are very safe and reliable uses. In addition, for descent, the reverse applies. So what the passenger does is they enter inside of the cabin, they select their desired floor, the cabin lifts, releases the locks, and then it's a controlled descent via gravity. So no electricity is essentially used for ascent, or for descent, my apologies, just gravity is used to bring you down. Now, we manufacture 3 different models of these elevators. They range in size. They're essentially 1, 2, and 3 passenger elevators, with the 3 passenger being wheelchair accessible. Our smallest model is called the PVE30. It's a single passenger elevator with a 750 millimeter diameter. It can lift 1 person or 160 kilograms and can go up to 5 floors. This is the smallest elevator that's certified in the world. We have our 2 passenger model, which is the PVE37. It's 933 millimeters in diameter and can lift 205 kg. It's our most popular model because it's space saving. And then if in need of wheelchair accessibility, we have our largest model, which is called the PVE52. It's 1,316 millimeters with a 240 kg capacity. We also recently launched the only square powered by air, which we call the Cube. It's a 1 meter by 1 meter square elevator. This product can travel up to 3 stops and will be available internationally in the summer of 2025. We have been selling these so far in the United States. That is where I am from, and that is where our company is headquartered in Miami, Florida. Now, one of the unique aspects of our company is that we pre-build and pre-test every elevator, because that's why these features are very unique. You see, our product just goes on the ground, so it can go almost anywhere inside the home. They're air-driven, so there's no pulleys, there's no pistons. They can travel up to 5 stops, and these are for residential, marine, as well as stage applications. That means we can go up to 15 meters in total rise. It's self-supporting, so there's no additional support needed underneath. It's a plug-and-play system that plugs into a 220-volt power supply. As mentioned, there's no oils, no gases, no lubricants, so these are environmentally friendly. And lastly, one of the most appealing things is there's minimal maintenance. The only maintenance is after 15,000 rides, and that's simply to replace the seal. As mentioned, we manufacture these out of the United States, and every elevator is pre-built and tested by us prior to shipping. So this is something very unique in the elevator industry, in that we actually build your elevator to size, and it spends about almost 2 days on our testing bay. We check the locks, the brakes, the machinery, the safety components. We even do free fall tests to ensure that the brakes activate in the event of an emergency. This is what allows the installation to be done in 2 to 3 days, because the elevator arrives in modular sections, in tube sections that get carried in and just stacked one on top of each other. This is what makes it so flexible and so easy to add to homes, whether new or existing, because again, it just goes on the ground. Now, one of the other unique aspects is that the machinery is placed directly above, right? So you just slide the machinery right on top, and it's a 220 plug and play. You just plug it in above. So in essence, this elevator can go almost anywhere inside the home. Now, the reason why we are here, this is our 2nd year in Saudi Build, is that we believe in helping people and providing additional accessibility. Because of advances in medicine, people are living longer than ever before, right? This is a very family-oriented community. And just note, this is actually a cool video. We even put them in yachts. So you can even put this inside of your yacht. This is a video over here where we stacked a 3-story elevator and dropped it inside of a vessel. This installation was done in 2 days, simply because it just goes on the ground. So again, there's a lot of very unique features about this that allow them to go almost anywhere inside the home. And as well, they're very aesthetically pleasing, as you see right here. As mentioned, it becomes like a conversation piece, almost like a focal point inside either a vessel or an existing home. Now, the other aspect of our product is, as mentioned, is eco-friendly. You can even integrate our elevators with solar panels. So you can have an air-driven, solar-powered elevator that operates 100% off the grid. That means if you lose electricity anywhere in the home, the elevator will still operate. This is very popular internationally, where electricity usage can come in and out very frequently. Essentially, this allows the elevator to be 100% off the grid with 0 carbon emissions, making them the most eco-friendly solution as it pertains to elevators around the world. Just note that this is currently available everywhere worldwide. Now, again, one of the big reasons why we are here for Saudi is we believe in allowing families to live together in a free and comfortable lifestyle. We specialize in helping people. We provide a solution. That's the way we look at it. As people are living longer, you know, your grandparents, your parents, brothers, sisters are all living under one house. And many of these homes were not built with an elevator in mind. Our solution can provide that for you. You're able to sustain inside your home in both an aesthetically pleasing but also environmentally friendly solution, something that's both sustainable and beautiful to combine it both. So we are very excited to be here at Saudi Build. As he mentioned, this is our second year here. We're an international company. We have over 26,000 installations around the world in 90 plus countries globally. We have offices in Europe, Asia, South America, as well as headquartered in North America. That is where we are from. So again, it is my absolute pleasure to be here. We have our booth at booth 4317. You can actually see and ride one of these elevators in person. We have all three of our models on display, and you'll be able to see the wow factor. All day long, people come by and say, I've never seen anything like that before. And you know, we're very proud to be able to offer this unique, sustainable solution for everybody. So I thank you so much for taking this opportunity. And yeah, we'll see you guys at booth 4317.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick. That was great. I'm going to now ask, can we have the slideshow or the presentation for Dr. Al-Jouf? Or should we go to the other one first? Who do you have first? Al-Jouf. Mr. Al-Jouf, can you come up, please? Sorry, Doctor. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Actually, we are an Omran Tech group that we have started 2012, and we have been working in construction modular. As we are entrepreneur in the construction modular in the business of Saudi Arabia here since we started, and we would like to show a case about the LGE construction that we have done for Imam Turki bin Abdullah Royal Nature Reserve. So green.
Green button, yeah.
Okay, good. So the project was one of the most important projects for the Imam bin Turki Royal Reserve, and it was the starting of the LGS construction in that reserve. As we have been in modern building methods, we used the LGS construction modular, and that project was really boosting to 60 days project, and it was faster in construction and improved the quality control and reduced the cost, and it was very sustainable, since that reserve was one of the important points to reserve the community over there and not interact with any of the nature that they have in the area. The project was, the Imam Turki is one of the unique natural reserve in the region, and one of the amongst like the King Salman Reserve, and we have the Prince Mohammed bin Salman Reserve, and so on. So, and as we are right now also working the King Khalid Reserve, which is just near Riyadh here. So this solution that we have introduced to this reserve was very good solution to be selected for most of the project, which is that sustainable, was reducing project environment impact, and also efficiency with the quality control that they were looking for, which is going to be offsite construction mostly in the factory, and then it started to be moved to the site instead of doing the whole processing of the construction at site. And also the adaptability of the LGS was easy to customize, and it was a very specific for needs. The approach of that project was converted from concrete to the LGS modular. So if you see these processing for the engineering of this construction project was started from manufacturing the panels and the trusses system, and then moved to the site, which is saving around 25% of the time, and at the same time reserving also the time of the construction system of the LGS. The offsite fabrication was components prefabricated in controlled factory environment, was in a short time with less labors to reduce the cost and reducing the time. That modular assembly, the prefabricated component were assembled at site and was prefabricated at the location of the factory, like instead of doing blocks work and so on. So the speeding of construction process, which was the needs of the limited time they have to deliver this project, the sustainable material that considered LGS as one of the lead materials that can be considered to get LEED certified, green or other types. So the implementation of an advantage for this LGS construction approach: reduce construction time, lower material wastage, which was really important to them, improve the quality control. So we have been lower material wastage in the site, which was required by the nature reserve to be not interact with the environment. The insight of the project was, first of all, what the stakeholder engagement, which was involving from design, implementation. Also, the owner was very satisfied to implement that project from doing that off-site to on-site. Also, we have been in producing the local content for this project especially, which was required to have most of their product local in Saudi, and that project was made in Saudi 100% from the materials from scratch, which is the steel, the cement board, the materials related, lights, and so on. Also, the potential for border adoption. The LGS construction can be applied in a wide range of projects, from residential to commercial to center to all commercial spaces that require to do this kind of project. There are 4 points that I would highlight it, which was very important to highlight, which is the knowledge transfer, which was very important to implement in this project, the capacity of building. This can be done easily in any LGS project. The innovation solution to be pre-engineered in factory and then delivered to site, and the policy alignment, which is the Saudi code was approving these kind of systems, and they have approved more than that system as well. So we have been interacting this project from the architect design, the engineering consultancy, and contracting services. So that was a design, build and design project. And we have integrated most of the technology that we have from the architect design to engineering and manufacturing for the project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. That was great. And our last presentation is from engineer, Aboudi. Sorry, I'm looking at over there and seeing it the wrong way. But here we have you, and please come and talk about property renovation.
Hello. Have you ever been in someone's house that was arranged beautifully, but you couldn't wait to leave? Are there any place you've been to where you felt good and you didn't want to leave? Well, the aspects that let you feel the harmony in this place is the mix of elements that flow the energy inside this house. For example, the wood, the plants, the painting that has red color and blue color. The red represents fire, the blue represents water. The metal feature on the other side, and the energy flow of space. Don't you think it's beneficial for you to know about this energy and know more about Feng Shui. What's Feng Shui? Feng Shui is an architecture that started 4,000 years ago. The term means wind and water. They used to find where they want to live with a lot of aspects, with mountain, wind, and rivers. Energy flow can be studied on a land before purchasing it, on a person. For example, Elon Musk has a Q number is 2, which means Earth. He's detail-oriented, down-to-earth, and practical. We can make it on a house, like the plan we are seeing. I don't know if, like this plan. It has, the center is the center of the house, and all the areas are in harmony and in balance, divided into the house. We can do it on hotel. There is a lot of hotel now trend. They do a hotel, Feng Shui hotels, and as a design solution. The 5 elements we use in Feng Shui are fire, metal, earth, wood, and water. Fire means candles, electronics. TV, for example, is fire. The colors, if you want to paint a wall to represent fire, we can paint it in red or in orange. And the shape, triangular. The metal is metal objects or everything white and gray. Earth is represented with ceramics and the color brown and yellow, and the shape is square. Wood, it is represented with plants and green, and the shape is column. Also, water is represented with water features, fountain, pools. For example, in Saudi Arabia, we see a lot of houses, they have pool. When you see the pool, you're relaxed because it's hot outside, and you come inside, you feel the energy of the water that lies in. The colors of the water are black, dark blue, and wavy shapes. For example, the sofas are wavy, they represent water. Wood represents growth and vitality. Fire represents passion. Earth represents stability. Metal is clarity and focus. Water symbolizes flow and adaptability. The cycles between all those elements, we will start with wood. It feeds fire. Fire feeds the earth with ashes. The earth produces metal with mining. The metal generates water into minerals. Water feeds wood. This is an example of a bedroom. The back wall of this bed is black. Black represents water. So there is a lot of black in this room. The solution is to paint the wall on the other side in green to make the balance between the earth and the water. Placing a bed under a window is harmful in Feng Shui. It's better for the bed to be on a wall, not under a window. The command position of the bed shouldn't be in front of the door. It should be on the side and not when somebody enters the room, he should see the bed. Of course, clutter is the biggest enemy of the energy and the qi that moves into the house. We should not have TV, clutter, and the mirror in front of the bed, because it can affect our sleep and it can affect our well-being. Our office should be separated into sections. On the left side, the knowledge and education, we put the books, anything, sketchbooks, journal. On the other side, we can put our things, the telephone or whatever. And the second level, we should have a family picture from one side, the other side, the wife picture, the husband, the love relationship, and the part of creativity on the other side. This will make a very harmonious and balanced way to deal with everyday's work. The color psychology of each room. For example, the bedroom should be green, because green gives health and tranquility. The girl's bedroom should be pink, because it should be warm and calm. The office should be blue, because it should be productive. The kitchen should be yellow because it increased metabolism. The dining room, it's because if there is social interaction, it increases appetite. The color red is very good for the dining room. The living room can be lavender, something that allows relaxation. Feng Shui is gaining global recognition. In the 20th century, Feng Shui spread into the West after being in China, embracing all the celebrities, including Johnny Depp, Oprah Winfrey, Bill Gates, Richard Branson. All of them, they tried Feng Shui, and it helped them in their life. I invite you to know more about this topic, as it can benefit your well-being and the balance that is in the house. And of course, now the topic of the hour is Donald Trump. He used Feng Shui not because he believed in Feng Shui, because it makes him money. He did Trump Hotel, all based on Feng Shui. All his houses are based on Feng Shui. He does it because it makes him money. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Budi. Everybody, can you give all our speakers a big round of applause? And thank you. If I could ask you to come to the middle of the stage, we'll do a group photograph. And we have something also to give you that you can hold in the photograph. Thank you. Do you can, thanks, Osama. After this, in a few minutes, we're going to invite all our students that have attended from some universities in Riyadh. You've had some tours, you've listened to some of the talks today, and we have something to present to you, so please wait a few minutes. We'd like to organize a small celebration for you. I'll request Mr. Moath. Mr. Moath, how would you like to work the next celebration session for our visiting students? I can't hear you, sorry. So in 5 minutes we will do the celebration for our visiting universities. If anybody in the audience wants to stay and watch that, please feel free. We'll be back with you in 5 minutes. Thank you.